Next to you, write down, what is this thing? Because this is a classic cab driver, two guys in a pub, and I'll go, yeah, the problem with the canes, they're just not tough enough. Yeah, kid, geez, if he toughened up, he'd be a hell of a footballer. Problem with her is she's just not tough enough. You know, why don't you toughen up, you softy? Only that's towards the Australian forward pack. But what is mental toughness? So write down what you think mental toughness is. And how do you know if an athlete that you're working with is mentally tough? How do you know that you're working with a mentally tough? How would you recognise it? Okay, how would you recognise a mentally tough athlete? So what is mental toughness? How would you recognise it? And the third and most important part of that question is two parts. Can you coach mental toughness? And how do you coach mental toughness? So what is mental toughness? How would you recognise it? What does it look like? Can you coach mental toughness? It'd be a yes, no. And then, if you can coach it, if you think you can, how do you coach it? And again, it's not just a matter of saying to some kid, toughen up, mate. It's probably not going to work. And I want you to think broadly, guys. What is typically the way we try and coach mental toughness through what part of our... So remember, with anything we're trying to do in our coaching program, we've got 6 different ways of looking at what's happening. The issues that we're working with can be physical, they can be mental and emotional, they can be technical skills, they can be strategic in nature or tactical, they can be cultural. We had a good session on culture, I think, this morning, or it can be how these things are integrated. That's our map, that's our model for trying to figure out how to enhance performance. So I get called in. I got a great time with the Sydney Roosters about 9 weeks ago. Trent Robinson, head coach, said, "Golly, we're just not where we need to be right now," and we had some different things that we worked on. And but your framework is: do I come up with a solution from a physical perspective, mental, technical, tactical, strategic? Is it a cultural issue? Or is it an issue about integrating and blending those things, the way they work together, the cohesion between those different elements? So typically, guys, how have we gone about trying to coach mental toughness through which of those areas? Usually physical. Usually pushing them to their absolute physical limits and wishing, praying, which I'd suggest are not strategies for successful coaching performance. Wishing and hoping are not coaching strategies. And we've all done it. There are no atheists on grand final day. We're all wishing for anything we can. Guys, as you go through your coaching, I believe, I'm not a big fan of the levels system, but phase 1 of your coaching as you develop, you're usually a one-answer coach. So when you start out coaching, if there's a problem and you can't get the athletes to perform, or you're not getting the outcome you're looking for, you've usually got one solution, which is what? Train harder. Kids are not winning, do more sessions. Kids are not improving, they're not training hard enough. Getting beaten by another team, we're not as fit as they are. Because the physical stuff is easy to see. Talked about that earlier on. Foundation of most programs are physical because you can see it, you can measure it, you can observe it, you can give them feedback on it. When you go through phase 2 of your coaching development, and hopefully I'm thinking you guys are all gone from 2 to 3, is that you have many answers to every coaching problem that you're up against. So the kids are not performing, and it could be what? Physical, mental, technical, tactical, nutritional, sleep, recovery, relationship. Never forget this. You're not dealing with that. This is not the world that we live in. You're not dealing with an athlete. You're dealing with this. You're dealing with someone who's a son, a brother or a daughter, a friend to somebody, a boyfriend or a girlfriend, a student. They do other sports. They're a member of a family. They're a member of a community. They're all those things. They're not just an athlete. Keep that in perspective. Because we're always, if the kid's not running fast, we go, well, therefore, it's a problem with running fast. Maybe they're not running fast because mum and dad are fighting at home, it's exam time, and they've also got finals in 3 other sports that they play. Chances are they're not going to run very fast at the moment. And we all get focused on doing better techniques, working on the physical side, working on the could be completely unrelated. So we end up at this phase of your coaching where you've evolved and you've got many solutions. Things happen, you go, it could be nutrition, could be attitude, fight with a girlfriend. Oh, they're not performing, it's October. Well, why not? School exams are coming up. So you start to become a little bit smarter. Phase 3 of your coaching. Phase 3 is you have very, very few problems. Because your experience knows that every decision you make and everything you do, there are consequences, and you've put in place systems or people or structures to minimise any problems that might arise from it. So the classic is, I was working for an AFL team, the coach said we need to do a power game now, we need to get bigger and stronger. Sounds good? Common sense, looking the way the game was going. That's the direction we wanted to go. Remember, the future is created by the winners. We said to the guys this morning, what was the quote? Does anyone remember about the future? No one can see the future. You must create the future. So as a leader, which is what you guys are, through your thoughts, your actions, doing things differently to everyone else, you create the future. You change the direction of your sport. When you win, everyone copies the winners. If behind you, you're going this way, you're doing that way, you're going this way, you're going that way. When you lead, everyone follows when you're winning. Okay, so what we did with the AFL team, what could happen when I increase size and strength in the playgroup? How am I going to do it? How do you build size and strength? Yeah, get them in the gym, weights, maybe look at their nutrition, that stuff. What else is likely to happen though if we just focus on speed, power and size?
Loss of mobility.
Could be, very good answer, yeah. What else? Higher risk of? Injuries, breakdowns. So, before they start on the strength and power program and the hypertrophy, getting bigger, hypertrophy program, it's been a long week. Before they go down that path, they do a few weeks core training, flexibility, technique work, and we organise massage and physio for them at a regular interval while they're doing the work. Because I'm smart enough, in this case the coach was smart enough to think that if I do that, that's going to get them bigger and stronger, but what's the consequences? I'll create the environment to minimise any negative impact so that what I'm doing will work well. Guys, the next place you get to is this. The final phase, or the next phase I think of coaching is you get to, is you deliberately create problems to force players to come up with solutions and understand how to make the right decision at the right time. You're deliberately creating, and you're asking them questions, and you're setting them challenges, and you're asking them why, and you're saying, how could we make this better? How could we improve this? How could we challenge ourselves? So I want you to think more broadly about this answer, other than, oh, you just tell them to toughen up and do more physical work and that'll do the job. So if you've got the answer to the questions, what is mental toughness? What does it look like? Can you coach it? Yes, no. And how would you coach it? Turn to your partner, your friend, person next to you, and let's spend 5 minutes talking about it. Just all on mental toughness, talking about mental toughness.